Hey guys, welcome to another episode of LFA Shop. On this episode, things get a bit out of hand, but before we get into it, I'd like to say thanks to Jackson for finding this on Marketplace and sending me the link. So consider this episode sponsored by him. So I've done it again. I bought another Corolla. So now we've got a KE30, KE70, and a KE55. So I got this one off of Facebook Marketplace, but it has Work Equipo 1 copies. I haven't checked, but I'm assuming they're fake. Set of chrome bumpers. It's got the chrome around the top. It's a 5-speed manual, which is a bit rare, and it's got the engine and everything in it. So start having a look inside, and I haven't opened the boot yet because I haven't got keys for that. So as you can see, the KE30's had quite a big hit in this corner. So it's actually pushed in all the metal in a guard, moved the rad support, busted the guard obviously. It's bent the bumper slightly, but I reckon that'd probably come straight once it's unbolted. The apron's all mangled. Headlight's gone, grill's broken, the bonnet is bent, but it also has the chrome strip on the front, which seems to be in really good condition still, but the bonnet was all rusted anyway, so no real loss there. It has a 3K and a 5-speed manual, so it's all complete. I know the guy that actually had this and did that by accident, and then it's disappeared for about a year, and I then bought it off of a guy who got it from the junkyard. So I probably paid a bit much for it. It owes me $8.50 at the moment, but I should be able to part it out and make my money back, and more importantly use parts from this to fix these two. So I can use the carby off of this onto the K70 if the one that came with the K70 doesn't work, and whatever else I need to fix the other one. So coming inside, it's got an aftermarket steering wheel. It's got the center console and a 5-speed manual. It's got a reasonably uncracked dash, but it looks like someone's had a go at it with some leather, so it's probably cracked underneath that. It has the brown door cards and the beige trims, which is not really how it's supposed to be. So it looks alright. Stock steering wheel on the back. Leather seats in the back and not leather seats in the front. There's a bit of a shambles, just a bit of put together stuff. It's got retractable seat belts. It also has these parcel shelf speakers, which I'm not sure what brand they are. They say Ferris just here. I'm not sure if that's the brand or not, but these often sell for a fair bit, so they're a good little addition. So I'm just going to try and open the boot up because I didn't get keys for that. I've got keys for the car, but the boot doesn't match. So there's the rear bumper and the tail lights, they're all in pretty good condition. And there's the wheels. So they're a 14, I'm assuming like 14.6 and plus 20 or something like that. But I'll take them off later and have a look. But there is quite a lot of rust in this body up along the gutter. Again, probably fixable, but whether I do it or not, it's a different question. And there's a fair bit in the guard down there. So let's try and do this boot and see what's in there. So it turns out the key was the correct key. You just had to put a fair bit of weight on the boot to release pressure off of this lock and mechanism, because the boot seals off of something else and it's quite tall. So there's not really anything in here, unfortunately. There's a spare tyre, bit of fake lawn, jack, heaps of rust down there. And that's about it really. There's a can of something down here. Emergency flat tyre repair. Yeah, okay. It's full, so never need to use it. There's more rust in there. That's about it really. Unfortunately there's nothing interesting in the boot. So I've just gone through and emptied the interior of the car. We've got a granny blanket, a wheel brace, the stock steering wheel with the badge, radio face, the other number plate. You got a bunch of wire and a bunch of screws and some fuses and tape and stuff, some razor blades, drill bit, bunch of wheel nuts, some rubber washers, some bolts, the center of the steering wheel that's on the car, a pair of plates for a 31, so a bunch of random stuff. Nothing super interesting though, unfortunately. So I've just moved the A-frame out the way, so I've just spun it around so that I can get a car through here. So I'm hoping to work on the Corollas this afternoon and try and get one or two of them running, bring them out the back here, and then I can work on them a bit easier. So I just went to the servo and got about 8 litres of fuel because it's super expensive today. It's $1.75 for 91, which is ridiculous. So we've got one battery between the 3 cars. The end one runs and drives, we know that. Not very well, but it does. So the KE30 we got to bark to life a little bit, but it's got no carby on it. And then the new one apparently did run and drive about a year ago when that happened. So I'm going to try and get the red one fired up. If that works, I can move that out the way. Then get the other red one, or the brown one, fired up, move that out the way. Then take the carby out of the boot for the KE30, put it on the KE30, try and get that fired up. And if that one runs, I'll move that out the way. And then put this one in first, then the other red one, and then the KE30 in the front of the driveway. So we'll see how we go. None of them may fire, but we've got one battery between the 3 of them, so we'll see how we go. So I'll start with the KE30. I'll take this dodgy battery bracket out of the way, chuck a battery in it, take the air filter off, pour a little bit of fuel in there, and just see what happens. So I've poured some fuel in the carby, and the battery's in, so let's give it a test fire. It runs, just not off its own fuel. So I've had it running a few times, just for a couple of seconds. So now I'm in the car, I'm going to put it in gear, take the handbrake off, try and start it and see if I can move forwards. So I'm in first gear, let's see how this goes. It's moving. And it has brakes, that's a good start. And we're out of fuel. Oh well, moves it to the end of the driveway, that's all I needed. Alright, so onto the KE30. So I'm going to take the carby out of the boot and try and get this thing running. So I put the battery in, I've put the carby on, but I haven't bolted anything down. And I've just put some fuel in the carby, I haven't put the fuel line onto it. And I just want to move to over there, just to get it out of the way of the gate. So we'll see if we can even do that. So I'm not surprised, but that didn't work. So going to have to try and do something a bit more permanent. So I think I'll leave this one for now and just move this one out of the way. Move the KE30 forwards, just roll it, open the gate, and then try and get them back out the back. So we're back in old reliable here with the prettiest steering wheel in the world. So see if it fires up. There we go. Alright, so I'll move over there and then roll the KE30 forwards and open the gate. Keep losing gears because the trans fluid's too low, so I have to definitely top that up at some point. Won't even spin the tyres on the dirt. Really need to fix this trans. So I got annoyed by just trying to make it run off of the fuel in the carby. So I managed to get it running off of this jerry can full of fuel. And since then I've noticed that there's actually some fuel in here. So I might pull that out in a minute and try and get it in here. But for now, it's in the backyard. Might try and take this guard off and do a couple of hot laps in the back here. See how we go. So I just took the reciprocating saw to the guard. So now I should be able to turn at least. I'll pull this out a little bit more by hand. Take the funnel away, shut the bonnet, see if I can drive it around the backyard, get a couple of gears. So I can actually turn now, which is pretty great. I've still got the jerry can in the bonnet, so I can't do a whole lot of crazy things, but do some gears, see if we can get moving. It's going to be hard to film and drive at the same time, but that's first gear. Second gear. My backyard is definitely not flat. Yeah, you get the idea. Doesn't really want to do burnouts. Or dirt burnouts. Bit pathetic really, but that's Corollas for you. So it's running on its own fuel, which is fantastic because I'm sick of carrying the jerry can around to all the cars. So now I need to get the K70 either running or at least moved into the backyard. So I couldn't get the K70 running, so I gave up a bit. And then when I was getting the K30 ready to tow it out, my neighbour came around, and he's probably 60 odd. He steered the K70 and I pulled it backwards with the K30. So way easier than pushing it. So I've decided I want to move the K70 back a little bit further. So let's try this again. This thing runs really well, by the way, which is fantastic. Perfect to part it out. So got the cars in the backyard, got the K70, chode that in here, and then pushed it back by hand a little bit further forwards. And by hand I mean by hand. And the K30 runs no worries, and the K55 has trans issues but runs and drives okay. That's it for this week. Thanks for watching.